time to make the donuts. Don't nobody under 30 know what that means, but my older crew, you know what that means. Time to get out here in these streets and get this bread. It's cold, but we gonna make it do what it do. So let's get started with the shoot today. Today, let's start off with who are we filming? We are filming legendary sportscaster Dale Hansen. He is huge and he has great contributions in the sports field and outside of the sports field. He is being interviewed by former Dallas Mayor Ron Kirk, who did an excellent job while being the mayor of Dallas. Now, what is this for? This is an interview, and the interviewer is former Dallas Mayor Ron Kirk, and he's interviewing Dale Hansen about some things about his past. I really don't want to go into it because I don't want to give it away, but it's an excellent interview. And we're running a 3-camera setup in Dale's home with the Sling Studio. We're using 3 A7S IIIs. Right now we're getting set up, and we kind of want to take advantage of the light that's behind them, the background that's behind them, the natural light. We're going to overpower them or match them with soft boxes to create a very shallow depth of field. We had a little bit of an issue with highlights as Ron comes in and gets set up. We had a little bit of issues with highlights, but it wasn't that much. We were still able to get really good footage. And a lot of people were asking, did we shoot in RAW? We didn't. We used the Adamus recorders mostly as monitors on this shoot, to be honest with you. And we shot everything internally in the cameras in 10-bit, but we used the Sling Studio to mix and change right there on set so that we didn't have to go back and do any editing. And again, we were brought in to capture a portion of a bigger project. So I myself, our other camera guy who works with the company, and then our producer on set, is just running and working everything. I actually showed the producer how to work the Sling Studio within a few seconds. So right now, I'm just showing you the setup. We wanted to go with some really good soft light on each talent. So we kind of lit both separately, allowed the background, the window to be a hair light. And that allowed us to capture some really good shallow depth of field. For audio, we live mic'd them just to make it easy because we know we had a wide shot. We didn't want a boom pole hanging, slinging, or hanging around. Plus, these two guys are pretty animated. They move around a lot, as you can see in the time lapse, and I don't want them moving in and out of the sweet spot of our microphone. So live mics work best for what we were doing. So this is for broadcast, and you can see we have standard A7S IIIs. A lot of people, I for the life of me, don't get people who say you can't go straight to TV with these cameras because they're more than enough. And I didn't even, when we finalized it, we didn't even use the clip from the A7S III. Here I am showing the producer how to use it so that she can cut her own clips. And this prevented me from having to go back and edit everything. I showed her how to do it. She cut her own clips. I gave her the file from the Sling and the RAW or MP4 files, and she was able to do any type of changes she needed later because she had knowledge of how to edit. So this saved me a lot of time, and she loved working with it. So I manned one camera. I had Ross man another. We used the Rode wireless system. We didn't use the wireless goes because we didn't want to deal with chargeable batteries. We didn't know how long this may have taken, so we went with those. You see the GoPro I got down there creating time lapses. And the good thing about using the Sling Studio is we can watch all 3 cameras. So I can look at Ross' camera. Ross can, just to make sure he's pointing at the stuff he needs to point at and doing what he needs to do. And we can make sure everything is in focus and colors are similar and accurate. So that's one thing, one reason I really love the Sling Studio. It's wireless. It ran off my iPad. She has the freedom to walk around and do whatever she wants, and I can go from my camera to the iPad just to check up on things and see how things are doing. I'm shooting with the Tamron 70-200. I wanted some compression, especially with the background we have, and we got the Tilta matte box, which helps in a bright room like that. So again, we're running and got everything going. Again, 70 to 200. I like that lens for video, just my favorite. I'm not really shooting a lot of autofocus. Here's the Sling Studio here. I'm really set on one thing, and then we're shooting. I didn't really want to do autofocus because I didn't want it to hunt at all. And you know, we're shooting in a pretty decent place where I can lock it in, and he's sitting, he's not running around. So it really helps with getting a great image. GoPro again was just there for time-lapse purposes. Light dome, we're using a 220 LED light, so it's pretty bright, and we're using that as the main light because it's a little bit further away and it has more power. That way we can light the subject. And as you can see here, Sling Studio got 3 cameras running. Pretty simple. You can kind of get an idea of what the shot looks like right there. We wanted to kind of keep a little bit of the presenter's head so we can jump back and forth, and it feels very natural. From here, you'll get an idea of what the GoPro sees. Actually, this is the GoPro when it's not on time lapse, and the GoPro looks actually pretty decent. That's a GoPro 9 that we were using, and I use that for B-roll for the YouTube channel. We're not using this B-roll as a part of the project. So if you are a Gold member, I'm going to release a video that talks about pricing and things like that. I want to talk about some of the contracts that we use for this video. We use property release, right? Because we're at one of the talent's house. We use video production contract. We use a second shooter agreement, or you would if you don't have employees, or if you don't have contractors. So those are things that we use. Let's take a look at how the footage came out. This was raw footage, no color grading or anything. All right, guys, so let's conclude with a few things. Let's conclude with the idea of how we would price this. We're gonna go into more detail on pricing on the Gold member video, but just know this is a 3-man shoot. This is about a 4-hour shoot, and we have 3 cameras, so keep that in mind as you price it. When we pitched it and we did everything, we kept that in mind as we shot it. So on the Gold member video, we're gonna pretty much re-show some of this B-roll, but we're gonna go into a deeper dive on pricing. I always say understand what you're shooting, understand the dynamic of what you're shooting before you quote a price, before you write a proposal, and know what's needed in the final result. This is for broadcast, so it didn't have to be super cinematic. They wanted something that was TV style. That's something that can go right in the middle of a news show. So we didn't want to go crazy shallow depth of field, but we wanted to make sure that we captured in a way where it would just be high quality for a local news show. So keep that in mind when you are working with clients. Make sure you match their look. Sometimes clients don't want crazy cinematic footage. It's just not what everybody wants. However, understanding the client and having a great relationship with the client and undressing and uncovering their needs will help you discover what exactly your client is, so you're not overshooting for something that does not need that, and you're working harder than you have to just to get the same amount of profit. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. If you got questions, please post them below in the comments section. I love to hear from you. All right, see you in the next video.